Somewhere in Europe, in April 2025, 49 people bought a Jaguar. That's not a typo. In a continent of 700 million, across every showroom in every country, including Britain, where the company was born. The year before, that number was 1,961. To understand how a car company arrives at 49, you have to go back to 1961. Geneva, March. A British company pulls a sheet off a car so long and so low that, in their own words, the world stood back in awe. The Jaguar E-Type. The man behind it, Sir William Lyons, had one rule. He said a Jaguar should be a copy of nothing. Not a copy of a Ferrari, not a copy of a Mercedes, nothing. That rule built the company, the fastest production car in the world, wins at Le Mans again and again. A shape so good it stopped a room in 1961 and still stops one now. 63 years later, Jaguar took that exact phrase, copy nothing, and used it as the reason to delete every photograph of that car from its own archive. Not from a museum, from their archive. On purpose, in an afternoon. This is the story of a company that misread its own founder and what it cost to find out. To understand what got deleted, you have to know what it was. In 1922, a man named William Lyons started a company in Blackpool building sidecars for motorcycles, not cars, sidecars. By 1935, he'd built the SS Jaguar, and what made it work wasn't engineering, it was nerve. British cars at the time were upright and sensible. Lyons made his low, long, and slightly disreputable, like it was going somewhere it shouldn't. Then the XK120, which he designed himself, and which at 133 miles an hour became the fastest production car on Earth. Then the C-Type and the D-Type, which went to Le Mans and won again. Then, in 1961, the E-Type. Now, here's what Lyons actually meant, and this matters more than anything else in the story. Rawdon Glover, Jaguar's managing director, explained it himself in an interview. Lyons meant a Jaguar shouldn't look like anything else on the road. Hold on to that. On the road. It's about the car. It was always about the car. By the 70s, a Jaguar sitting in an American driveway said something quite specific about you. It said you had money and slightly questionable judgment, because the electrics were a running joke, and everybody bought one anyway. That's brand equity. That's 90 years of it. And then it stopped working. In 2018, Jaguar sold 180,833 cars worldwide. By the 2024 to 25 financial year, that number was 26,862, an 85% collapse in 7 years. And for scale, over that same stretch, the global luxury car market didn't shrink, it grew. Nothing was happening to the industry, something was happening to Jaguar. Almost all of it happened before anybody deleted anything. CEO Adrian Mardell said publicly that Jaguar's models were generating close to zero profitability. They were building cars, selling cars, and making nothing doing it. The uncomfortable part was next door. Land Rover, same parent company, same factories, same engineers, same canteen, was thriving. The Defender alone sold 115,000 units. One SUV outsold everything Jaguar made 4 times over. Same building, very different meetings. And Jaguar's own leadership had worked out why. Glover put it plainly, if we play the same way everybody else does, we'll just get drowned out. Sit with that sentence because it isn't a critic's line. That's the company describing itself. Jaguar hadn't become bad. Jaguar had become interchangeable. The company built on being a copy of nothing had quietly become a copy of everything. Something had to change. Everybody agrees on that part. What happened next is where it gets strange. In 2021, Jaguar announced the plan. They called it Reimagine. Abandon the mid-luxury fight entirely. Stop trying to beat BMW. Go up instead, into Bentley and Rolls-Royce territory. Cars above $130,000. Now, that's not as mad as it sounds. It's a trade. Bentley sells around 15,000 cars a year. a fraction of what Jaguar sold in 2018, and makes far more money doing it. Sell fewer, earn more per car. Porsche ran a version of this. Plenty of companies have. The part that wasn't normal was how they planned to get there. Every existing model discontinued by the end of 2024. The F-Type, the XE, the XF, the E-Pace, the I-Pace, all of it. Internally, they called this a fire break. You stop a fire by burning the ground ahead of it so there's nothing left to burn, which is a genuinely excellent technique in forestry. What it meant here was this. From late 2024, Jaguar showrooms across Europe and America would have nothing to sell. No cars, no test drives. A photograph of a concept and a polite suggestion to come back later. For over a year. A car company that had voluntarily stopped selling cars, kept alive entirely by its parent, waiting on vehicles scheduled for late 2026. And not everyone inside the building was comfortable with it. In 2022, more than 24 of Jaguar Land Rover's own designers signed a letter objecting, not to the ambition, but to the fact that the reinvention of a British car company was being handed to an outside advertising agency. They were overruled. Remember them. They come back. Because Jaguar now had exactly one chance to explain all of this to the world. They scheduled it for November. If you've made it this far, you already know what kind of channel this is. We take one company, one decision, and follow it all the way down, with the receipts on screen. Subscribing costs you nothing and tells the algorithm to keep bringing these to people who'd actually want them. Now, November. On November 18, 2024, Jaguar emptied its social media accounts. Every post, every photograph. E-Types, D-Types, Le Mans, 6 decades of customers posting pictures of cars they loved, gone. The next day, the new Jaguar arrived. The leaping cat was pulled from the main branding. The word mark became a mix of capitals and lowercase, J, capital G, capital U, AR, which the company explained was for visual harmony. New slogans: break molds, live vivid, delete ordinary, and the headline lifted directly from Sir William Lyons. Copy, nothing. Then the advertisement, 30 seconds. Models in bright, avant-garde clothing holding sledgehammers and paintbrushes, walking through pink geometric landscapes. No car. Now, remember what Lyons meant. A Jaguar shouldn't look like anything else on the road. He was describing a car. Jaguar's tribute to that idea was an advertisement in which no car appears at all. Elon Musk replied with 4 words. Do you sell cars? Here's the number that should have frightened them. Musk's 4 words got 164,000 likes. Jaguar's entire campaign, the one they'd spent years and millions building, got 9,000. The mockery outperformed the marketing 18-1. Jaguar's social media team, who worked harder that week than anyone else in the building, replied inviting him for a cup of tea in Miami. 2 weeks later came Miami Art Week, where Jaguar unveiled the Type 00 concept in Miami pink to a crowd that included Helena Christensen, David Gandy, and Chance the Rapper. On stage, McGovern named his creative heroes, David Bowie, Vivienne Westwood, and the architect Richard Rogers, 3 brilliant people, none of whom made cars. He also told that crowd Jaguar was at its best when it created the E-Type, 2 weeks after the company deleted every picture of it. And one more detail, printed in Jaguar's own footnotes to this day, the Type 00 was never going into production. The car Jaguar revealed to save Jaguar was a car nobody could ever buy. 5 months later, the number I opened with arrived. April 2025. 49 vehicles in the whole of Europe, against 1,961 a year earlier, a 97.5% decline. Now, Jaguar's defense, and it's a real one, so let's take it seriously, they had deliberately stopped production. You cannot sell cars you are not building. 49 reflects an empty factory, not a rejected product. That's fair. It just isn't the whole picture. Because every car maker on Earth was making the same transition at the same time, combustion to electric, and nobody else lost 97% doing it. Walk into a BMW showroom that year, and the 3 Series was still sitting there, next to an i4. Mercedes had built its electric technology into the E-Class and the S-Class. same cars, same badges, same trust. Audi kept the A4 and the A6 on the floor while the e-tron range grew beside them. BMW's electric sales climbed over 32% that way. Audi's climbed over 50%. Jaguars fell 97.5%. None of them asked a customer to change their mind. They asked them to walk 10 feet to the left. Jaguar's offer was, come back in 2 years. And by the way, you were the ordinary we were deleting. And then there's the line I can't get past. Before any of this happened, Glover said publicly that Jaguar expected 10 to 15% of its existing customers to come with them. That wasn't a leak. That was the plan, announced in advance. They kept 2.5%. Of everything Jaguar set out to achieve, losing the customers is the only target they beat. Everyone who built the Rebrand left the building. The Rebrand stayed. The agency went first. Accenture Song terminated in May 2025. Contract still running. Adrian Mardell, the chief executive who approved Reimagine, retired that August after 35 years. Jerry McGovern, who built the thing, was reported escorted from the building that December, ending 21 years. JLR denied he'd been fired, said nothing for 3 months, then confirmed in March 2026 that he was leaving of his own accord, which is what escorted out looks like once the lawyers have read it. But here's the part nobody mentions. Jaguar never said the rebrand was wrong. No apology, no reversal, no statement. Something much quieter happened instead. Remember those 24 designers, the ones who put their objection in writing back in 2022? Their complaint was never the ambition. It was that the reinvention of a British car company had been handed to an advertising agency, instead of the people who actually build Jaguars. Now go to Jaguar.com. There's a page on it called Origins. The SS Jaguar of the 30s, the XK120, the E-Type at Geneva in 1961, and the page insists this is not nostalgia, it's a living design code. The company that deleted its history has rebuilt it as a website. Then, this year, Monaco, not an art fair, a Formula E race weekend. Jaguar revealed the production car and called it Type 01. Their words, the type speaks to their provenance. The heading on the page reads, From Race to Road, the most powerful Jaguar production vehicle ever built. Type 00, a non-production car, at an art fair, in pink. Type 01, a production car, at a motor race, sold on Heritage. There is now a page on Jaguar's website for Monterey Car Week, Art Week to Car Week. The designers who lost that argument in 2022 have quietly won it in 2026. Nobody announced that either. The slogan was, Delete Ordinary. In the end, the only thing Jaguar managed to delete was 2 years.